Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shalom, brothers and sisters. Giving honor and praise to the Creator, maker of heaven and earth. This is not going to be a long presentation, but a necessary presentation. Recently, being, quote, Old Testament based, I've been asked about over and over recently about the book of Daniel chapter 3, namely in verse 25. What we want to point out, brothers and sisters, in the book of Daniel, the 3rd chapter, Nebuchadnezzar is ruling. The Israelites are under the hegemony of the Babylonians. Nebuchadnezzar is a Chaldean that is ruling in Babylon, in Babylon's 11th dynasty. All right? And he's the son of Nabopolassar. And his general was Nebuzaradan. In other presentations, we spoke about Jehoiakim of the tribe of Judah being mentioned, brothers and sisters, by the Babylonians. Getting into the matter of Daniel, the 3rd chapter, if we will. We're going to read from verse 1 to verse 6, and then go to other aspects to get into the subject matter deeper. Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold, whose height was 60 cubits, and its width 6 cubits. He set it up in a plain of Dura, in the province of Babylon. And King Nebuchadnezzar sent word to gather together the satraps, the administrators, the governors, the counselors, the treasurers, the judges, the magistrates, and all the officials of the provinces to come to the dedication of the image which King Nebuchadnezzar has set up. So the satraps, the administrators, the governors, the counselors, the treasurers, the judges, the magistrates, and all the officials of the provinces gathered together for the dedication of the image that King Nebuchadnezzar has set up. And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar has set up. Then a herald cried aloud, "To you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at the time you hear the sound of the horn, flute, harp, lyre, and psaltery, and symphony, and all kinds of music, you shall fall down and worship the gold image that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. And whosoever does not fall down and worship shall be cast immediately in the midst of the burning fiery furnace." Let us go to Daniel 3, verse 14. Nebuchadnezzar spoke, saying to them, "Is it true, Shadrack, Meshach, and Abednego, that you do not serve my gods or worship the gold image which I have set up? Now if you are ready at the time you hear the sound of the horn, flute, harp, lyre, and psaltery, in symphony with all kinds of music, and you shall fall down and worship the image which I have made. Good. But if you do not worship, you shall be cast immediately into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. And who is the God who will deliver you from my hands?" We have to understand that Nebuchadnezzar was, in layman's terms, feeling himself, if you will. You understand? He done conquered many nations. His predecessor, along with him, laid ambush against the Assyrians, along with the Medes and so forth and so on. And so now, having conquered Jerusalem, you can see how he's going to be having a stubborn heart to say, who's going to be the God that will deliver you from my hands? Verse 16. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, "O Nebuchadnezzar, we have no need to answer you in this matter." We have no need to answer you in this matter, because they already knew of the Most High. See, everything that is presented as a question doesn't always have to be chased after for you to give the answer to. Not every single thing. Proverbs 26 teaches us, answer a fool according to his way, least he be wise in his own eyes. And it also says, answer not a fool according to his own way, least you be like unto him. So you have to know in wisdom when to give the answer and when to just say you're not even worthy of such. Sometimes in that manner, the people might feel, oh, we won one. Or in the Facebook community, oh, you running. I've been told that before. Oh, you running from what we saying. No, I'm just not going to keep on repeating myself again and again. Because if you know yourself as Israel, saying you're a prince of the power, the Most High is the power, then why will we even have a discussion on who will be the God that will deliver Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Let's go on, if we will, right? Verse 17. If that is the case, Eloheinu, our God, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us from your hand, O king. But if not, let it be known to you, O king, that we do not serve your gods, nor will we worship the gold image which you have set up. So we're not going to bow down and serve your gods. When you go into the book of Josephus, the Israelites were telling Caligula that for them to worship the Roman gods will make the Israelites cowards. So it takes heart, brothers and sisters, to give exuberance and praise only to the creator of heaven and earth. That's why these kind of men stood out. The Israelites that did bow down to these idols, they don't have their own book. They're not registered among the righteous. Just the same, our people who were not cowards in slavery, Frederick Douglass, Denmark Vesey, Gabriel Prosser, Nat Turner, and others, Harriet Tubman among many others, Josiah Henson among many others, right? Brothers and sisters, we know of them. They either have books about them through a biography, or we know of them through tales. But the people who were selling out, they didn't get no book. Nobody interviewed the coon, to put it in layman terms. All right, let's go on. We're going to go to verse 22 and read to the end of the chapter. And it says this. Therefore, because the king's command was urgent and the furnace exceedingly hot, and the flame of the fire killed those men who took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these three men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then King Nebuchadnezzar was astonished, and he rose in haste, and spoke, saying to his counselors, Did we not cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire? And they answered and said to the king, True, O king. Look, he answered, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they were not hurt. And the form of the 4th is like the Son of God. Now, looking at this from the aspect from Messianic brothers and sisters, they're going to say, believe it or not, that Daniel 3 verse 25 is talking about Jesus. Now, I want to emphasize on why in this channel, knowing Hebrew, no disrespect, that I say Jesus and not what many Israelites would say as Yeshua or Yahshua. Because you say Judah, Jeremiah, Joseph, and Japhet. So the song, no disrespect intended, of Hebrew has no J. J is not over 500-600 years old, granted. But the same emphasis isn't applied to even the people of the Old Testament. They don't sit there and go hard to say Yaphet instead of Japhet, Yosef instead of Joseph, Yirmiyah instead of Jeremiah, but deifying Mary's son. They're going to say, don't say Jesus, say Yeshua. but you're talking about the same person. This is what we want to point out in reference purposes of that. Let's go on. Then Nebuchadnezzar went near the mouth of the burning fiery furnace and spoke, saying, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out and come here. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came from the midst of the fire. And the satraps, administrators, governors, and the king's counselors gathered together, and they saw these men on whose bodies the fire had no power. The hair of their head was not singed, nor was their garments affected, and the smell of fire was not on them. Nebuchadnezzar spoke, saying, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and delivered his servants who trusted in him. And they have frustrated the king's word and yielded their bodies that they should not serve nor worship any god except their own God. Therefore I make a decree that any people, nation, or languages which speaks anything amiss the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut in pieces, and their houses shall be made as ash heap, because there is no God who can deliver like this. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. Brothers and sisters, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego spoke to King Nebuchadnezzar, saying that their God will be able to deliver. When Nebuchadnezzar see that they were delivered, Nebuchadnezzar is noted for saying, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. This fourth image or form that he said in verse 25 is like the Son of God. You don't read about that one outside of reading when Nebuchadnezzar said, the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego has sent his angel. Angel, messenger, malach in Hebrew if you want to go in that particular aspect. They were not asking for angels, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Nebuchadnezzar himself knew to say the Most High God, the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. In that particular case, but viewing the Old Testament through the eyes of the New Testament, people are going to say that that's Jesus. Brothers and sisters, let's go to one citation if we will. Let's go to Job chapter 38 and then close out this particular aspect if we will. Job, the 38th chapter. And we're going to read verse 1. And it says this. Then the Lord Yah entered Job out of the whirlwind and said, Who is this who darkens counsel by words without knowledge? Now prepare yourself like a man. I will question you and you will answer me. Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Tell me if thou hast understanding. Who determined its measurements? Surely you know. Or who stretched the line upon it? To what were the foundations fashioned? Or who laid its cornerstone? When the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of Elohim shouted for joy, and all the sons of God shouted for joy. Job is being asked about something in the time of creation, before Job's even existence. And it mentions the sons of God sang for joy. Could one of those that Job 38 says as the Son of God be that image or form that was in Daniel chapter 3 verse 25? Or are you going to have the mindset saying the New Testament version of Son of God must be Jesus Christ and then try to put him in the Old Testament? Since we don't have a name of an angel in Daniel chapter 3 verse 25 and taking it line upon line, it's safe to say that one of those sons of God that Job 38 mentions could very well be a candidate, if you want to use that term, as the Son of God in Daniel chapter 3 verse 25. Because Daniel didn't know of a New Testament. Shalom.